All right, we are back. Arrowhead PM. We are live again for the second episode. Today we got DG back with us. What's up, man?
Yeah. Nah.
Yeah.
Well, I was never here, but
Well, yeah, you were never here, but I mean, you were supposed
nah.
to be here. But
Glad to be joining you guys. Glad to be joining you guys, man. It's gonna be fun.
it's your second show with Kingdom Cast because you're on Tell the Truth. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yeah.
we got Corey back over here. We got Ethan. We got Max. Whole crew's back today. It's gonna be a special little episode here. We got a lot to talk about, man. Holy cow! First off, shout out to KC Current for getting that big win today in their opening of their brand new stadium, the first women's stadium for professional sports. That's big time news, man. Kansas City, we are living it right now, man.
Yeah. It's been amazing. 11,500 people packed the house today.
Oh,
That's awesome for a women's, soccer game, man. And shout out to them for doing big things, man, and getting that dub today. Thrilling game. I've seen they were up 3-1, I think, at half, and then gave up a couple goals, and I think had to fight and scratch and claw there at the end to get a dub, but got it done. So very proud of them, man. Got to make it out to a game for sure.
yeah, I know, right? I think our other crew was there. Like Kingdom Queens was there. I think Lexi was there, right?
Yeah,
I know Lexi was.
Was CJ
Yeah,
there?
several people
With
there.
D-Mac and him?
No,
Did they go?
no, I don't think they went, but yeah, Lexi was definitely there today. So
definitely have to make it out.
I think D-Mac and them are at some of the basketball games.
Yeah, the Big 12 championship.
Oh, yeah, they went to the Big 12 tournament. That's right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Shout out KC Current.
What's going on in KC this weekend, man?
Patrick was there with his beautiful wife. They were pumping up the crowd. So,
yeah. Like a good time, man. They said the stadium is really nice, too, so I have to make it out there and look at it. See it.
Yeah, I've only seen pictures. You know, me being all the way out here in Colorado, it's a little hard for me to just get out there, right?
I know they got to make a trip.
Yeah, Noni, new show. Arrowhead A.M. P.M. We do spaces, on the Twitter, but decided to go live with it now. So we're doing film review and talking about free agency and all that other good stuff. So.
A lot of good stuff, man. All right, so I guess with that, we move into the big news of the week. Well, first off, right before we came on, some big news happened in the NFL. The Chicago Bears have traded Justin Fields to the Steelers.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
Boy.
Bro, crazy.
If I'm a Bears fan, I'm really happy.
Yeah.
Now you don't got to worry.
Right.
Yeah. It obviously means Bears are obviously going to take Caleb Williams or Drake May or one of those quarterbacks, Jaden Daniels with the first pick. So
no chance they don't take Caleb, right?
I think it's Caleb. It's got to be Caleb.
It's got to be Caleb.
Yeah, I don't see it being anybody else for real. Maybe I'd be shocked if it's Drake May or somebody. I'd be absolutely shocked.
They've had 2 first-round quarterbacks in Justin Field and Mitch Trubisky, and neither of them worked out. If they go against the grain and go against Caleb Williams and get somebody else, and they don't succeed, Hamper is going to fall on that whole GM staff and everything else. You can't get 3 first-round quarterbacks in a row and it not work out. You've got to go one that has the highest chance of succeeding, which is Caleb at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
I would laugh if they took another number 10 North Carolina quarterback. We saw what happened last time.
That'd be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie, I would laugh.
Their feet held to the fire if that pick does not work out within the first 2 years.
I don't think Poles will.
I know Commander fans are really upset right now because I think that they thought with who was it, the Vikings that traded up earlier this week into the first round. Yeah, I think they thought they might make a shot up to do something, but I know they're reeling right now because they really wanted Caleb. But I think at this point they're stuck with Daniels. Well, it's not stuck with. Honestly, it's like 1A, 1B in my opinion between those two guys. So, well, shout out Steelers, man. I think it's a good situation for them because they, you get your young quarterback behind Russell Wilson to come in there. Russell Wilson's there for 1 year, so you let Fields come in, get control of the system and the offense, and let him sit behind Russell Wilson for a year. And then you get the opportunity to come in next year, understanding the system, a better team, a better coach, a better front office. That's a great situation for Justin Fields, I think. So,
how long do you guys think? How long do you guys think that Russell Wilson will remain starter?
I don't know, man. Like, it's kind of weird because
he'll be the starter day one. I think it'll be a QB battle. I mean,
yeah,
not on a back, so he's not guaranteed a starting position, only making less than $2 million.
They just come out and
backup in history.
Well, they just come out and said that he's not going to be competing with Russell Wilson for the starting position. So I'm curious to see how long that's going to last. I mean, I personally think Fields is better than Russell Wilson, especially now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he's obviously more talented at this point of his career than Russell Wilson is. But I think the Steelers may see that some of the deficiencies in Justin Fields' games may be from the mental aspect of things, and I think that they probably feel like Russell can kind of help him, groom him with some of that stuff. It feels like a bridge quarterback situation, where they kind of draft somebody and allow him to be groomed underneath the veteran cornerback like Pat was here to Alex or something like that, So
I think the perfect quarterback.
It'll work out for them. Yeah, we'll see.
It's the perfect quarterback for him to be learning under as well, in terms of play style, as well as this. Russ does have a lot of experience in this league. He is a great mentor, especially to a guy like Justin who's been through some pretty bad situations. So I'm excited to see what happens there with both of them.
It's nice to have somebody being able to do the chat. Last week I was the only one I think that could see it because these guys couldn't figure it out.
Well, I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it when
I still can't see it. Oh,
that's
all
right.
It is, actually.
We'll work on it. Hey, found the chat. Look at you. All right. So with that, moving into the news that happened literally an hour after we shut down this show last week. Thanks, Brett Veach. Appreciate it, man. Chris Jones signs a 5-year deal worth $158 million.
Yeah.
Whew.
Crazy, man. Crazy. Shout out to Brett Veach. Right. Nah, shout out to Brett Veach, man, for getting this thing done and structuring it in a way that I feel like that works out for them, but also works out for Chris as well too. Now, especially getting the other news with Aaron Donald retiring, Chris is now the highest paid defensive tackle in the league for sure. No questioning it. So yeah, man, shout out for them for the way that they structure it. It's essentially a 3-year, $95 million deal with $60 million, which is fully guaranteed at signing. Jones is made up to $30 million in the signing bonus, and then his base salaries from there on in. What I really like about the deal is that I think after the 3rd year, they kind of can play with that money a little bit if they need to, if he's still here,
right.
Or they can, officially just walk away from him if they feel like, they haven't gotten the production that they really wanted to get out, after that 3rd year. But I kind of felt like they owed it to Chris to do this for him. He deserved it. He's obviously played his butt off to get where he's at. So yeah, man, shout out to Reach for making this deal the way it is and setting it up in that way to where it works out later on in years where they really need to sign some guys of their future, and it hopefully doesn't hinder them from doing that. So.
Right. Yep. What do you guys think of this big old contract for Chris Jones, Ethan?
No, I mean, I love it. Hey, I'm glad to have him back. I'm glad he's finally booked up on a long-term deal. Last year was pretty rough playing the guessing game. When's he going to sign it? Is he going to sign? Is he going to go somewhere else? So I'm glad that it's taken care of and we can move forward from it. And I mean, he's the best D tackle in the game at this point, and especially with Donald retiring, which I thought he's been better than him the past couple years anyway. But hey, I mean, you can't
I don't know.
complain.
According to some people, we have the second best defensive tackle in the AFC
Yeah,
West.
I've been seeing that too. So it's ridiculous. But yeah, so I'm excited to have him here. Now, if we can figure out whatever we're gonna do with Snead.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. Max, what do you think about the CJ deal?
Brett Veach is a mastermind. How you got his cap hit down to $7 million is mind blowing to me. That's crazy. Obviously, he got the guaranteed money he wanted. Also, I think just the structure in it. None of us really expected a 5-year deal. I don't expect it to be a 5-year deal, actually. There's probably going to be a couple outs. It's also a very team-friendly deal in that sense that they're able to move money around throughout these 5 years. So I think that's an important thing moving forward as well with Chris. But hey, man, Kratzbro's got it done. They're gonna have some big clients coming up. That's what I think. I mean, they just got Jody signed as well. So this was dang. But I mean, this was a big sign for them. They needed this. Chris needed this as well. I'm glad that he's gonna stay in KC. He's gonna retire a Chief.
Big money.
Balance is restored in the universe.
Yeah, or at least our sanity until we get to the Snead deal.
Yeah, for a couple of days, and then Snead decided to take over the cryptic tweets. So.
Yeah. Corey, what do you think about this deal, man?
I love it. I was waiting for it to get done. I thought there was a decent chance it got. I wasn't expecting the 5 years. I was expecting 3, but it looks more like a 3 with a couple of outs. But I was like, thank God, the drama's finally done. And then as soon as that ends, all of a sudden the Snead drama starts, and it's like, we can't catch a break. Like every offseason, there's drama with something.
Right.
Yeah. It's really getting to a point where this team has this team has people that get the fan base in a roar on Twitter, and it's hilarious to me that people take these things so dang serious, especially these cryptic tweets from these players. Like, just leave them alone. Like, they're messing with you. Like, this is fun to them. You guys are out here taking all this stuff so serious, and everybody's freaking out. I'm like, I sent out a tweet earlier today. I'm like, y'all need to go outside and, hang out with your family, hang out with your friends, something, get outside, touch grass. Like, stop looking at all these, things about Snead, like, which is what we're going to get into right now. Snead. So the report has gone up and down. He's traded. He's not. They've agreed. They haven't agreed. They've agreed on a trade. They agreed on compensation. They've agreed on basically the draft picks, but the holdup is on the Colts side in regards to guaranteed money is the report that we've seen. What do you guys think about this Snead deal? I mean, this is kind of a weird situation, I think. A lot of GMs, a lot of fans around the league are kind of like, what is going on here? Are they even traded him? Is it even a thing? Last time I checked before we came on here, the Tennessee Titans supposedly are still in on it. So, I mean, I'll open it up to you guys. What do you make of this, man?
After trying to figure out the whole CJ thing last off season and everybody being wrong about it, I'm not even going to try to figure out what's going to happen with it. I've seen so many reports. He's gone. He's not gone. He's going to make this. He's not going to make this. We're going to get a second. No, they want to give us a third. I haven't seen 2 stories that match. Everything that comes out on it is something else or another wrench in it. So at this point, I'm not even going to try to speculate on what's going to happen.
Yeah. I feel like at this point the biggest hang up and probably issue is that L'Jarius Snead is asking teams to make him the highest paid corner in the league. And some teams
at 22, right?
Yeah, $22 million per year. Whether that be incentive based to where he can get up to that number, I'm not sure of how that contract language is going right now. I'm almost assuming that he wants it structured in a way where he's the highest paid corner in the league. And I don't think he's kind of budging off of that number at this point. So now it's essentially based, if it's coming down to 2 teams and the Titans, I feel like are stepping back in, it makes it seem like the Titans are probably willing to give him that or whatever. Just based off of what they did with Calvin Ridley the other day. They got the cap space. I guess more of it would be on the trade compensation. or whatever. But yeah, it seems as though he's asking to be the highest paid corner. In my theory, is that he's asking to be the highest paid corner in the league, and the Colts, I don't know if they're willing to do that.
It's a little bit different of situation, right? Because he's more on the side of like Brett Veach, and I'm talking about the GM for the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Ballard.
Ballard. Thank you. He came from Kansas City, so they're good friends. They know each other. I mean,
right.
So they both know what's up. So
he spent 6 years. Spent 6 years with Veach here in Kansas City. Left in 2016-17. So he's been with the Colts for the last 7 years. To DG's point, the Titans are at 54 million available cap space. The Colts are at 22 available million cap space. So the Colts are right there on the edge of that bubble. A lot of Colts fans were saying if they were to get Snead, they would have to make a cut like Mo Alley Cox, which I believe is another 3 million. But in terms of the whole Snead, whatever we want to call it, I still fully believe he'll be traded. I've always thought that he's going to be traded. I still think he's going to be traded. That's just my opinion on it. Some of the cryptic tweets that we've seen this week have been some of the cryptic tweets that we've seen this week are, well, the latest one is him sending eye emojis to Chris Lammons, former Chiefs teammate, now a Colts corner. He as well liked a couple Colts players' tweets and replied to a Colts player's Instagram post. And then obviously this morning we had, I don't know what those tweets were, man. We had one report come out saying that he was the deal was done. He was going to be traded for a third and a late round 2025 pick. And then another guy came out, Holder came out and told us that there was no deal in place. So I obviously have my own speculation about that this morning. I'm not going to dive completely into that because I'm not going to take any of this news to heart until we get something from a verified source. But I think we kind of went over it this morning as well in our space. You know, there's too much smoke for there not to be a fire. There's too much smoke for there not to be something going on here between, even if it's not the Colts, even if it's between another team. And I still feel like there's a team that we have not heard about that is in this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say, man, I wish we could keep him here. Unfortunately, when you get to this level and you're winning Super Bowls and you have the best quarterback in the league, you know, that you're paying a lot of money to, and thankfully he's restructured multiple times now. It's hard to keep everybody, you know, and so my thing was always I want either CJ or L'Jarius Sneed. It don't matter which one. I always preferred Sneed, but it didn't happen like that, so we'll move forward. Brett Veach has done an excellent job of picking up cornerbacks in the mid to late rounds. So, I mean, you know, I think he can make do without it. I hope wherever he goes, hopefully we don't have to see him very much. So I would prefer him to go to, you know, NFC if possible. But it is what it is. It doesn't look like that's going to happen from the teams that are interested in him. So,
well, I mean, I think at this point I'd rather him go to the Titans than the Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. Just give us our second. That's all I care about.
He fits the Titans. Yeah, he fits the Titans too. I mean, he's a physical DB, you know, and that's always been kind of the Titans' thing, is they're a very physical team. So it'd be a great pickup for both sides. So curious to see what we get back out of it, though.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, I think the Titans make sense as far as the money wise, just because of them having Will Levis and being on their, you know, rookie quarterback contract right now. I think that's why they've been able to kind of throw the money they've been able to throw around at this point. So why not go and get, you know, a shutdown corner at this point, something that you don't have on your team. You already went and got it. I guess who people would feel like an elite receiver by the contract numbers, you know, and Calvin Ridley. So why not bolster your roster even more by going to get an elite shutdown corner that, you know, can lock up his side of the field.
Yeah. What draft pick does the Titans have in the first round?
They're picking at 7.
7.
Yeah. And I'm almost gonna assume it'll probably be for a receiver. One of those receivers. Neighbors.
Which one are you thinking?
Maybe. Huh?
Which one are you thinking? Neighbors?
I don't think they go receiver.
Say
they could go tackle too.
Yeah, I think they go tackle just because they already have D-Hop under contract and they just gave Calvin Ridley that bag and a half.
You know what? I damn near almost forgot they had Hopkins.
Yeah. I think that was made it more of a reason of going to get Ridley to giving Will Levis 2 guys, veteran guys that he can feed off of and and learn from.
Hopkins is kind of that intermediate guy, that chain mover that can exploit the level between the linebackers and the safeties, but they didn't really have that true speed option to push those safeties deep. I think that'll help open up D-Hop a little bit. They try to pinch down on D-Hop, then Ridley can beat him over the top. I like the move. I like the pairing of Ridley and D-Hop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the second round, they have pick 38. They don't have a third round pick.
Yeah.
So that'd be right where I'd said all along. Anywhere between pick 36 and 45 is what I wanted for Snead.
Like I said, it could work out for us because right now, if they're stuck at like a third round pick, if the Titans hop in, the Colts now have to jump them and give a second round pick to beat them because the Titans picked before the Colts, I think.
Yeah, again, I don't think it's the draft compensation that is the problem. I think it's legitly the contract.
I think
that's
I think the more less compensation you want to give up.
Yeah, like I said, the reports that we've seen thus far, the last one was what you're saying, but I mean, the most consistent one is that they've got a trade compensation package agreed upon, but it's on the Colts right now to figure out the contract, and the guaranteed money is probably what's holding it up at this point.
But CBS
again, we're all spitballing.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Ethan. Or
issues. You don't want to up too much guaranteed money for multiple years, not knowing how that knee's going to hold up. I think that they're kind of digging into that, maybe checking or trying to get permission to seek medical records and stuff like that, so that way they can be sure that they're going to get somebody that's going to be healthy for the next few years and not somebody that's going to have a knee crash out here in the next year. I think medicals are a big part of it too.
I have a question for everyone in here. Did any of us ever notice him having knee issues though?
Nope.
No.
Not really. Just always
like I feel like this knee thing is really getting blown out of proportion and being used as leverage. I think the biggest thing that's being used as leverage is the fact he didn't get All Pro or Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I didn't really notice it until training camp last year when they were talking about it.
And and Quinn just brought up a good point too, is that he's not a turnover machine either. So a lot of teams may look at that and say, well, yeah, sure, you can shut down, your side of the field, but you don't help us really get the ball back, and a lot of teams look for that when they want to pay high price guys.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, no all pros, not a lot of turnovers. Like, there's a lot of bargaining chips there, and you're about to get probably paid the most highest contract for a cornerback in the league.
Yeah.
It's going to set a new precedent across the league, right? Or it could anyway.
Hey, CBS said he was asking. They thought roughly around, I think it was 19 mil a year. I mean, what is the highest paid cornerback right now?
I believe it's Jair.
Yeah,
you're at 21.5.
21.5. So, I mean, that'd be pretty well on par, in my opinion, for what he's done. Now, granted, like you guys said, he doesn't have the All-Pro, doesn't have the Pro Bowl selection this year. He's kind of got a few things going against him, and then the knee, for whatever that is. I personally don't think that's an issue, but neither do I think the Pro Bowl or the All-Pro is either. So,
Well, I mean, Johnson up there in Chicago, he signed for what, 19 a year, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, Jalen Johnson.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Everybody's really just gonna have to calm down and just let this stuff ride out, because we really have no idea. I mean, some of these so-called insiders that have friends at the front office, stuff like that, that's all fine and good, and it makes it fun on here on the app, and to talk about and discuss and everything. But to freak out about it and then, start losing sleep over it, like just let this stuff work itself out.
I was in a Colts space earlier, and they had someone join. They were like, "Oh, we need to give Ballard his flowers. Like he did this. Like he did this." I was like, "Slow down. Nothing's official yet. Nothing's official yet." And when I woke up and saw that tweet came out saying that they were going to get a third round pick and a fifth and a 2025 pick, I was like, "That's very weird." You rarely ever see a trade get leaked in the first place, let alone the exact compensation that's going to be in the trade, just because it gives leverage to the other side or one side or other teams. And that's what that did. That tweet gave the Chiefs a ton of, if that was true, that tweet gave the Chiefs a ton of leverage, which we obviously apparently saw that something happened within their contract talks or within it. Then we also got reported that nothing was going on, which could have been a PR cover-up. So don't know what was going on there. All I know is if that was the trade, and it got leaked like that, that just gave Veach some leverage. So
I want to touch on what Jeremy just said. A lot of people look at Snead as just a product of the Chiefs and the Spags defense. In some circumstances, you could say yes, but if you actually watch the film and watch the way that he knocks people off of their routes, jamming them off the line, he's probably the best cornerback in the league at jamming a receiver and not getting beat doing it. One of the things that is very tough with heat, and you're on an island like that, it's like Snead wins 99% of those jams at the line. You never see him get dusted, even with somebody like Tyreek Hill. He gets his hands on you. He's driving you backwards, throwing you to the ground. That's something that a defensive scheme can't teach you or can't elevate you on. Snead is probably one of the best physical press man corners in the league, along with a solid blitzing cornerback. So Snead is kind of, I don't think that he is a product of a Spags defense with his skill set and the tape on him and just watching through the season. He is just a top 3 corner in this, regardless of the scheme that he's in.
You gotta move it over just a little bit because I think you got birds flying over your connection's starting to cut out.
I thought Ross was the one who was on the mountain.
Hey, I'm on the mountain, but I got connection. I'm higher up, man.
He can dang near reach up and touch that satellite, so he's good.
Yeah, exactly. What are we talking about here?
Right.
All right. I think we've touched enough on that Snead deal. Listen, it's gonna happen when it happens.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen an hour after we get off of here.
Yeah, right.
If everything stays in play.
Bro, if that happens, it's gonna be our trend. It's like anything that's gonna happen trade wise or signing wise, or maybe we'll have to do this during the draft. We'll get on here, be like, yo, we want to draft this person, and get on here, and then we'll get off, and then an hour later they'll draft that person.
Oh, we got one more question.
What's up?
Would you rather trade up?
I mean, it depends on who's available and for as high as you can move up with that. Like, if you ain't got anybody available that you're not interested in, then I would say no. But I don't know. You're giving up a second round pick in a year that you don't have that many picks, so I wouldn't do it.
The only thing I think that you can move up for is a left tackle. There's enough receivers that one's going to fall to you at 32, or enough where you can get one in the second round. So unless you've got a left tackle prospect that's sitting there at 20, 22, and you don't think he's going to make it to you, that's the only thing I could see us trading up for.
Yeah.
So, Quinn, to answer your question in terms of trade capability, if you are to get that second, say from Indy, your total pick value between 32 and 46 comes out to 1,030, which the highest pick in the first round that will get you is at 16 with Seattle. And that's the other part of trying to trade up. You got to find a willing candidate, a willing team that will trade with us, which is going to be very difficult. I don't see them going up into the teens. The most I could see is that 24 to 27 range if they are going to.
Knowing that other teams won't trade with us gives other teams leverage. Say, hey, you got to give us a little extra because this team and this team and this team after us isn't going to trade with you.
Yep.
So anytime you're at 32 at the end of the first round, it's easier to trade back with one of those teams that want to jump up and get somebody like a quarterback at the end of the round to be able to use your option on them. But when you've won 2 Super Bowls in a row and 3 out of the last 5, and you're going to find very few teams that are willing to trade with you, and the ones that are going to want a little bit extra on top of it because they know nobody else will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not really for trading up. I think there's going to be plenty of receivers that can drop. Obviously, if you got somebody who's dropping down into the 20s, like a AD or something like that, or even a I forget his name out of that LSU.
Brian Thomas.
Yeah, if you get Brian Thomas starting to drop down into the 20s and stuff, maybe you might consider, doing something there. But Snead typically, or Snead, wow, you are so in our minds right now, bro. Veach typically does not draft or to trade up in the draft very often. And right now, like you said, Corey, like it's going to be even difficult this year because teams really aren't going to want to trade with us even more than last year because we're doing this 3-peat type thing. So, I just don't see it.
Not to give you a future left tackle.
Yeah, not to give you a future left tackle or even, have a chance at, one of these receivers that might drop or something like that. They're going to make you wait. So, it'd be nice. I mean, but I wouldn't see it. I would actually see Veach probably even trade back, get more draft capital coming because we got a lot coming up next year too that people just really aren't recognizing. We're gonna have to start filling some holes. So, yeah. So I think we're done with the Snead issue here for at least now until at least an hour after we get off this podcast.
And he gets traded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pop back on here for like another 15 minutes, like kind of like Keenum Cast with D-Mac popping on when Hollywood. Yeah, he just showed up out of nowhere at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
what did it happen?
No.
Oh no! I'm just saying. Speaking of Hollywood,
got you. Speaking of Hollywood Brown, guys, we got ourselves a wide receiver in free agency. None other than Hollywood Brown. How we feeling about that one?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, yeah.
I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Man, if you guys know me, I've been pulling for Hollywood for a while now, so I was really excited to see this. It's a guy who has been forced into some bad situations throughout his career here. There's a lot of fans trolling us saying that it doesn't move the needle or it doesn't add anything or he has drop issues, which that's so blown out of proportion. The fact that you got him for $7 million on the cap, like I think DG was the one who said this week. It's just like if you told anyone at the beginning of this offseason that you got Chris Jones or Hollywood Brown for $14 million against the cap this year, they would have been like, "You're crazy." Let alone both of them for a combined $14 million. That's just nuts. So I'll list a couple stats for everyone who is a Hollywood doubter or wants some more information on what he has done. He's only missed 10 games in the last 5 seasons. He has a career drop rate of 3.6. He was also drafted into an offense that only passed 20 times a game. He was a 1,000-yard receiver in the only year where his quarterback started the whole year. That was also a Ravens offense that was a run-heavy offense. And in his 2 years in Arizona, he had more starts with Colt McCoy and Joshua Dobbs than Kyler Murray. So for what he's done and what he's able to do on the field, he has one of the most diverse route trees. You can really let him run anything. I believe, ironically, his worst route is a go route. So you can really just move him all around the field. He's a perfect Andy Reid guy. He's a gadget guy. Like, You can't coach that. You can't coach that. That's just pure talent.
That's why I laugh when all the Twitter GMs get on. Every receiver you talk about, the thing I hear is, oh, he's got drop issues. He can't catch the ball. The guy has a 97% completion or a catchable ball catch percentage. So drops the ball on 3% of passes to him. I don't see how you can say that's drop issues. Like, he's had pretty sure hands. He's got MBS's speed. He's a better route runner in and out. We just won a Super Bowl with that wide receiver core, and we just upgraded one of the wide receiver positions. So I don't see how it doesn't work to our advantage.
For less money, too.
Yeah. And if you look at what Calvin Ridley got and what we got him for, it's a steal.
Yeah. Man, Hollywood is a special talent. Oh, go ahead.
Look at that right there. Look at it right there.
You're good.
Go ahead. I'm gonna hear what you
I was just gonna say, I mean, you're adding somebody with the 4.27 speed, and then you got 40-yard dash or whatever, and then you got Rice. That'll open up a lot more for Rice and Kelsey across the middle. That's what we've been begging for, man. Is a true outside deep threat, somebody that can go long and be able to catch pass. And somebody said, I forgot who it was last week, talking about he's only had 4 or 5 40-yard or more catches. That's more than we got this year out of everybody. Yeah. So, I mean, I love it. You can't really complain about it as much as Chiefs fans have moaned and groaned about our wide receiver room. We upgraded one position. We took MVS off the team. Thank you for your service. You brought us 2 Super Bowls. You was a part of that. But we're bringing in somebody with more talent. Somebody who can actually track a ball. So, hey, I'll be excited to see what this does for our draft options at wide receiver.
Like draft-wise, this opens things up a lot because if we didn't get Hollywood, we would need somebody at the speed aspect, so we have that part of our game. And bringing in Hollywood will allow us to go get the guys like AD or Ladd McConkey or Keon Coleman. It doesn't necessarily have to be a receiver with speed. It could be a possession receiver, a big body receiver. Bringing in Hollywood at this point before the draft just opens up the possibilities for the draft and doesn't make it to where we have to single out one specific skill set to look for.
Yeah, initially I think this kind of puts Worthy out of the conversation. The only thing I'll say about a potential Worthy is if Snead is traded and that opens up $19 million in cap and you pick up another free agent wide receiver, Worthy might be back on the table.
So, Max, I'll give you a little bit of pushback on that. The only reason why I don't think that takes Worthy off the table is because it's a 1-year deal. You only got him locked up for 1 year, so you're going to need somebody after that. This is your chance to be able to bring in somebody for the long term, for him to kind of, even if he plays a limited role this year, and they kind of grow. So I don't think it knocks Worthy off the table per se, but like I said, it sets up for interesting for your wider draft.
Yeah, I guess my
who's
only concern
who's that free agent receiver?
Can I say his name?
Yeah, just say the face.
Odell Beckham Jr. It's a perfect fit at this point, especially if he gets closer to training camp and no one signed him and he's willing to take a $4 or $5 million contract. It's a perfect X to take, especially if you're going to draft a rookie wide receiver, as well as obviously Hollywood's been in the league, but man, learning from Odell as well as Rice and guys like KT and Sky, with how young our wide receiver core is, that could be really valuable, in my opinion.
And here's the thing. I keep seeing people get pushback for bringing up receivers like Hollywood, like OBJ. They're like, not the same receiver he was. He only had 600 yards, 700 yards this last season. Behind Rice, I think our top receiver had, 300 yards? So any upgrade. So give me 600-yard, 700-yard OBJ. Give me 800-yard, 900-yard Hollywood Brown. Those together is still 1,000 more yards than the next 2 receivers we had last year.
Yeah, it's like people expect us to bring these guys in and expect them to be wide receiver 1. and do everything and have a 1,000-yard season. It's like, no, we need you to do your role. It's kind of like a Justin Watson role. We don't need you to have 10 catches every game, 8 catches every game for 100 yards. No, you might have one game like that where the game plan is for you, but your majority of your role is going to be taking 4 or 5 catches a game and doing what you need to with them. Josh Reynolds, Quinn, you just brought up Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is another name that I like, as well as obviously Mr. Mike Williams is out there. I'm not a fan, but had to say it.
No, let him go. Let him go to the Jets.
We've already got Kelsey, who put 1,000 yards every season. Rice last year almost broke 1,000 yards with playing time the first half of the year. So we've got our 2,000-yard targets. What we need is those depth pieces that are going to give you 500 to 700 yards a piece. Our problem last year is just a major drop off between Kelsey and Rice and what was below it. So what we really need are those complementary pieces that are going to get us 500 to 700 yards this season. We don't need a 1,000-yard receiver, another 1,200-yard receiver. We've already got 2 of them.
Yeah. See, and the problem, Chiefs again with getting D-Hop last year, we had no money. Chris Jones was sitting there. We were trying to get a contract done with him. Like that was the hang up last year. I 100% agree that Veach had a plan to bring in a veteran receiver last year, another one alongside MVS, with Rashid Rice and Rasheed Rice. I better say that right. Somebody's going to catch me on that. Rasheed Rice and Justin Watson. So we just didn't have any money. Like all the money we had tied up in Chris Jones last year. How much money do we have going into training camp? Was a mil?
Less than that. At one point, it was like so we did some adjustments. But you can't really say we should have got D-Hop because we won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. I'm answering his question. We should have got D-Hop. I'm like, I think we were trying to get D-Hop, but we had no money.
Yeah.
So
I don't. We never offered him.
No, we never.
Yeah.
We couldn't
because
offer
we couldn't
have any money.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my point.
Like so, Robs and the Byron Pringles. Now we need those people that are going to come in, get the gritty 500-600 yards. We're good.
Yeah.
Everybody gets so they see these other teams making all of these splash, and they forget we have a 2-time repeat Super Bowl roster. So they're seeing these other teams make these flashy moves, and you get a little jealous. Why aren't we making these moves? Like, why can't we get any headline moves like this? We don't. Our headline comes at the end of the season when we're holding up that trophy.
Yeah, it's because we draft.
I'd argue I'd argue that we have made those splash moves by re-signing Drew, re-signing Chris, bringing in Hollywood. Like I think we've had a pretty phenomenal free agency to date. So
you signed the #1 free agent.
Yeah. Yep. What are we talking about? Just because it's the same guy we've had here. Yeah, coming off a Super Bowl. 3 of them.
We all know how some of us get as Chiefs fans. We've been crying and complaining about it. And as soon as we sign Hollywood, I keep seeing people going, okay, who's next? Come on, Beast. Let's go get OBJ. Let's go get this. Like, man, y'all were just complaining that we didn't get anybody. We get somebody. Now y'all complaining that we haven't made a move on somebody else. Like, let it play out.
Yeah.
What do you got on this, DG? On this Hollywood?
Yeah, man. I love the fact that they're gonna value explosion in their offense again. That's obviously what this move tells to me, that last year they knew that they didn't have that guy that could really stretch the field and go down and track the ball on a reliable basis. I felt like last year they also didn't have a guy that understood or had an arsenal of routes that they can run and put him in different positions. And I think they're getting that with Hollywood Brown, a guy who truly understands how to run his routes, understands how to stem DBs at the top of his routes and really get great separation, from some of these DBs and things like that. Putting fear back into defenses that, hey, if you decide to rotate a safety down into the box or something like that, or we'll beat you over the top of you, and it really creates a chance for other guys in this offense like Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco, to have lighter boxes, seeing a less of a mess across the middle of the field than they saw this year. There were times this last season when we seen our offense, everything was condensed kind of in the middle, and teams didn't have to, especially opposing defenses didn't have to really do that much, So just play too high shell and sit back and try to see if one of the other guys outside of Travis Kelce or Rashee Rice can make a play. Unfortunately enough, the Chiefs were able to kind of figure some things out there at the end of the year and lean, more on their run game and their defense and still win a Super Bowl, which is crazy. But if you wanna three-peat, you wanna win another ring, you better make some teams fear you again. And
Kareem Hunt's not going to do that.
This is that step to make teams fear you again. Putting Hollywood Brown in this offense gives you a guy who can literally stretch the field, but also understand run routes and knows how to basically be a weapon at this point. So,
and for that price,
for that price, I'm surprised, and that surprised me too. I'm surprised that he was willing to take an offer like that, but that goes to show you how much at this point in his career he wants to win. I think it was more about winning games and showing that he can put up numbers in winning games, so that next year when he hits the market again, that he gets paid and hopefully might be with us. We never know, but if it's not, then with some other team that can compete as well too.
The difference between Hollywood and MVS is when I hear people talk about MVS, they keep saying he was our deep threat. Deep, yes, but threat, no. To be a deep threat in this league, you have to be able to do more than just run a straight line. And that's kind of what limited MVS was. They know when he takes off, he's doing one thing. He's running a straight line. So just drop back as far as you can. Hollywood Brown gives you that underneath ability. He's able to cut off a route for a comeback or cut it off for a crosser. That's where that deep threat opens up because the cornerback has to respect the horizontal and the first 2/3 of the field, to where with MVS, you just have to respect the deep ball. Just keep running with him. Don't let him beat you over the top because he's not going to cut it back up. So to me, Hollywood, that's the step up that you get, is that cornerbacks are now going to have to respect the short ball game with him too. Because if you watch a lot of his replays, he'll cut off a little quick crosser and take it 30, 40 yards. Something that you wouldn't see MVS do.
Yep, that's definitely true. He's a threat in the short game as well as the long game. For those wondering, he has one of the most diverse route trees. The only real route that he doesn't run that much is a comeback route, coming towards the sideline. That's really the only route that he hasn't ran in his time in the league. The short route that he's had the most success on is an out route or a flat, as well as a screen pass. And the best deep route that he runs is a dig route.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
he plays physical.
Yeah, it lets you. It opens up a lot of the levels concepts again that you can run. You can run a lot of levels with Rice because we obviously saw Rice around that 5 range crossing, as well as he would extend it into that 10-15 range if he was going to sit down in that zone. So I think it just lets you open up that levels concept again and bring Kelce on some kind of corner route. It just makes a lot available for the offense again with how diverse his route tree is, and he is also great in the screen game. So that's also something to keep in mind.
Go ahead, Corey.
No, go ahead, Ethan. You haven't spoken on it yet.
I was just going to say, I was going to reply back to what Chiefs guy just said. He's not a big body receiver like a DK Metcalf. There isn't many wide receivers out there built like DK Metcalf. I mean, and we don't need that. Hey, Pat's not a throw up, contested catch kind of guy. So we just need somebody that can get over, track the ball, and adjust his body to be able to get that ball. That's all we need. Like, we don't need somebody like DK Metcalf to go up and fight somebody for the ball. So,
as much as I respect MVS for what he did for us and some of the big catches there and turning it around, not letting him get in his head, and made some big plays there in the playoffs and then the Super Bowl, the one thing I'll say is he's not an Andy Reid guy. Andy Reid likes guys that allows him to be creative, that have versatility, that are multi-role receivers. And MVS just wasn't that. That's what Hollywood Brown is. He gives you that multi-dimensional receiver that's a short threat, a deep threat. He's more of an Andy Reid guy than MVS was. And I think that's what kind of limited MVS in the offense was that couldn't use him like Andy Reid wanted to with a speed receiver.
Yeah. For me, the biggest thing for him is his ability to separate, using his speed, especially at the top of his routes to kind of manipulate corners, to getting them to change of direction. It's something that you just didn't have on this team last year, and I know a lot of people talk about the size and him being 5'9" and stuff like that. That stuff doesn't matter when you can separate and put yourself in a position to for a better catch with your route running. Your size is, it is what it is. Yeah, it helps certain guys at the same time, but man, the way this kid can fly and how he can stem and stop on his routes, like it's not a lot of DBs that are in the league that can keep up with him. So.
Yeah, I believe it came out.
Go ahead, man.
I believe it came out. He was second in most routes run over 20 miles per hour, only to Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Tyreek Hill commented on that.
Yeah,
I was just about to bring Hill up. I was just about to bring Hill up too. Like these guys, they play physical. Like just like Tyreek, these guys will go up and catch the ball. They will be contested. Like there were some clips right there you were watching where Hollywood is going up for those contested catches and comes down with him more than not. So, I mean, he's got the speed we need. I think he's got more of a route tree built in than MVS had. I think he tracks the ball better. I think he's got that ability to separate himself, not just from the downfield targets, but over the middle. And I think he helps us out. So he's got the deep threat stuff, but he can also help us out behind the line of scrimmage, right? He can do the jet sweeps. He can do the counters. He can do the screens and stuff and be effective. So it just adds another player to do more in this offense and not just pigeonhole a wide receiver saying, okay, you go deep and you not doing anything for us because you can't track the ball and catch it. So I think this puts this offense back on track.
It does.
Go ahead.
Ross, I'm sending you one more video on Twitter that we can take a look at. It was honestly my favorite clip while making an edit for him. It's his touchdown versus the Eagles. Just watching it, it's like it's so sending, but just watching it, you can't teach some of the stuff he does. You can't teach elusive. It's like Tyreek. You can't teach that twitch. I'm not saying he has a Tyreek twitch. We all know that's kind of one of a kind, but the way that he is a threat when he gets the ball in his hands as well, and puts his body on the line to go up and make a catch is something that makes me kind of reminisce of Tyreek Hill. Does anyone know his measurables?
Who?
Hollywood. He's 5'9".
Yeah.
He's 5'9", 180. So,
180, which, by the way, he came out of college at 5'9", 166 pounds. For all of you people that think that you can't get heavier in the NFL as a wide receiver.
Yeah, the one thing that Hollywood is his stop-start speed, his ability to make a cut, put his foot in the ground. And if you watch some of those screens, like Hollywood's not really known for his screenplay, but everybody talks about his deep threat. But watch some of his tape on some of his little short crossers and his screenplays. He'll make somebody miss, make a cut, stop, cut back the other way, make another person miss. He has the skill set we used to call it when we were watching and grading receivers. He has the ability to make somebody miss in a phone booth. He can juke you out the phone booth. And that's one thing MVS doesn't have. He has that vertical speed, but we call that stride. He's a strider. He's going to be able to build up speed and outrun in the long run. Hollywood will be able to take those screen plays, take advantage of the space that Kelsey leaves over the middle when he pulls a linebacker. That's the one thing that we severely lacked last year is somebody that could take advantage of the space Kelsey creates and to turn that into extra yardage. Hollywood's the one that if you drop a linebacker back and Hollywood fills in that hole and makes a catch, he's going to go 20, 30 yards before somebody touches him.
Yeah.
Right.
And
even if someone does touch him, then he's breaking that tackle.
Yeah, he's good at breaking tackles. That's another thing that really hasn't been talked about. Chief KT bring up a point here. Says, I want to bring back McCole on a 2-year deal or draft a wide receiver. We are definitely drafting a wide receiver. Bringing McCole back on a 2-year deal, I don't think is anywhere in the realm of possibility. You could possibly get him back here on a cheap 1-year deal, especially after what we just gave Brown. But I mean, there's no way. I don't think that they're going to give him a 2-year deal. He's done a lot for us, but it's like I just don't think that that's something that Veach and them are kind of looking at. I mean, everything that McCole does, Brown does the same thing, and arguably you could say at a higher level.
Yeah, and it's even where I'm at when I was talking about Odell and Mike Williams and Josh Reynolds. If you're going to bring them in for 1 year, all you're really doing is prolonging a problem again. You're going to go back next year and have the same problem. You're going to have 2 free agent wide receivers that go in Hollywood and wherever the other one is that you bring up. So really, you're just delaying the problem. You kind of have to go a multi-year thing there, I think, which kind of puts some of those guys out of the question. Although, I don't know. They might be preparing to re-sign one of them at the end of that season. But also, you could take 2 rookies, which we don't know about.
I mean, if you look at McCole Hardman's situation, and I think Ethan spoke on this in a space once, like if they wanted McCole Hardman back, they would have signed him to a multi-year deal already because he's a similar type wide receiver as Brown. So I don't think that they're going to give him a multi-year deal. I don't even think they're going to give him a 1-year deal. Ethan, DJ, what do you think about that question?
Who, McCole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give him a 2-year deal. A 1-year deal, maybe. I wouldn't mind it, but at this point, getting Hollywood Brown, I don't see the real need for signing McCole back, unless you're bringing him back just on punt return, kick return purposes or something like that. So it just, it makes me think it's kind of a waste of a contract at this point. I love McCole. I love what he means to this, to this franchise, but sometimes, man, that's the name of the game. You just got to walk away from certain players, man. And it sucks, but.
So I know you're probably on here trying to get us to commit to something here. Yes, Devontae Adams is 100% better than probably every receiver we have, but Devontae Adams doesn't have a ring.
Also, who's his quarterback? Who's his quarterback? Gardner Minshew.
So, we will see, my friend.
So my thing with McCole, I mean, I'm kind of like DJ. If they're bringing him back as a return specialist, shoot, why not? 1-year deal. Let him.
Is he going to want to do that?
That's the question there. And man, I love McCole. I'm grateful for everything he's done for the Chiefs. But that's another roster spot at wide receiver that we're not going to have, and so at what point are we going to carry 7, 8 wide receivers again this year? Like, nobody liked doing that because they tried to get everybody involved in it. It's impossible to get that many receivers involved and build up chemistry and have that consistency with these guys. So I don't see it. Like I said, unless if McCole would agree on a 1-year return specialist type deal, and I don't see him doing that. So
yeah.
Here's the thing. If you look at the roster, we've already got two people on rookie contracts, and KT and Sky. I don't think they go anywhere. KT still has value as a punt returner, and if he can get his issues straight, he's still one of the most dynamic receivers on short yardage or short catches in the league. He just got in. He got rushed back last year, got in his head. I think that they're going to give him the offseason to kind of cool down, level out, get him a full training camp, see where it goes. You've got Sky that's going to be fighting for snaps. Now you've got Justin Watson, you've got Hollywood, you're going to have another early draft pick. I just don't think that there is enough room to keep bringing in all of these sixth, seventh wide receivers that have the same skill set, especially if you're going to keep somebody like Justin Ross, his developmental ability. I just don't think that there's room for McColl on this roster. McColl is literally Hollywood Brown with half the route tree.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think someone's going to get pushed out of this wide receiver room because of this guy and because of whoever we draft. So this is the clip I was talking about. This was 2 years ago against the Eagles. You can go ahead and run it. He's down at the bottom of the screen. You'll see him come over, breaks one tackle, puts his foot in the ground, gets north.
That's
puts
the
his foot in
exact
the ground again. Like that you just don't teach that. That's pure talent and skill. And if you're a Chiefs fan watching that, you've got to be excited.
Yeah, and especially off of a offense last year that I feel like for us was built off of Yak. A lot of our bigger explosive plays come from Yak. Something that Travis Kelce has always kind of been good at. Rashee Rice as well too. Just getting upfield, getting north, like you said. And this is a guy that you miss, you're cooked. So,
yeah.
To me, when it comes to McColl, there is one position that he would be battling for, and that's kind of that gadget role, the little smoke screens, and then the little tosses, the end arounds, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
KT has an advantage on that. If you watch McColl's tape, he's not very good when it comes to looking upfield and using his vision to find holes. He runs into the back of the cornerback that's blocking. He's fumbled a couple times on those. Tony has a really, really, really he's really good at breaking tackles, especially one-on-one tackles. I don't know what it is. That man's like 170 pounds soaking wet. But if you watch him go head-to-head with somebody, he knocks them over. He'll bounce off of it and keep on going. To me, that gives Tony that advantage on those little gadget plays. And I'd rather have Tony doing that once he gets his head kind of back into the
game. We'll let the comments handle it.
You're going to upset Joy, DD. Upset Joy. You don't want that. All right, so let's close up on McColl. Let's go ahead and close up on this. I think McColl is on. Listen, I love what he's done here. He's got more Super Bowls, I think, than any wide receiver that we have in Chiefs history. So we love McColl, but I just think it's time for us to start venturing on into new horizons. And I think with this signing of Brown, I don't think there's a place for him on this roster, especially with the other two receivers we have there. One of them is pretty much a lock. So,
and I want to see him go get paid. That's another thing too.
And on a legit team with a legit coach, right? Legit coordinator, somebody who can actually use him.
Use him.
Yeah. I think 3-time Super Bowl champion. They can't ever be taken away from him.
Yeah. All right, so moving off of Hollywood Brown and our new big shiny new weapon that we got for Patrick, we're going to move into some of our receivers. So each one of us picked a wide receiver that we were going to talk about tonight and show you some film on. So let's see, who wants to go first?
You go first.
I don't want to go first. You put me on a spot. I can go first. You want to go first, Corey?
I'll go first.
All right. Let me get your video up here. You can go ahead and start.
This perfectly described it as somebody that I was not big on coming into the draft because we lacked the speed issue. We brought in Hollywood Brown, and now I think Keon Coleman would be a nice fit for us. He's a big-bodied receiver. One-on-ones, he'll go up, fight for the ball. He can be used as a deep threat. He's going to out-jump anybody. He's got the athleticism, the size, the build to be a true outside receiver. And he has the ability to play inside too. So now that we brought Hollywood in and have that speed aspect, I think Keon Coleman could kind of fill in that Juju role, that big body in the middle to work off of Travis Kelce, to take advantage of the space. And like we saw with Juju, he can take some of those outside routes, take some of those inside routes, and has the versatility to move Rice around, to move Hollywood around. I think Keon would perfectly complement Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice. Do you have the video of the little out route, the pylon route, where he starts inside and does a pylon route and catches it over the defender? It's a perfect example of his body control, his ability to fight through contact, and got solid hands.
Yeah, let me trying to pull it up here. There we go.
That was the last video he sent you.
All right, so that one there. Okay. Okay. Share screen. Sorry, we're still working on our presentation here for get these videos up here. There we go. Is this one you're talking
about? Let's see. Play it through and let's see. It's an end zone route. He catches it about the 2 or 3 yards. No, this is one of his quick screens. Like I was saying, you can work them inside and out. But go to the one where it's the end zone play, and it's literally he starts inside and it's a pylon route. He cuts out to the pylon. So it's similar. It's an out route, but designated to go towards the pylon. No, this one's another deep cross, which kind of was telling you how he got out.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to go over these as I pull them up because I can't.
But this is ability to work inside and out over the middle. He's got great recognition of where the linebackers and the safeties are, kind of like Juju did, and finding those gaps in between them. And he's got that size that you can throw it up over the linebacker and he's going to go up and get it. That's one aspect of him I really like. Watch how he sits down and kind of flattens it out to get underneath that corner. It's just he's got a knack, kind of like Juju did, for just being able to read the defense, read where the weak spot in the defense is, and then his ability to go up and get the ball, especially through contact.
Yeah. Tell me this kid can't catch that. One-hander.
See that pylon route later on. Okay.
Yeah.
Next video.
Yes. Please add this to my offense, please.
What's the measurables on him?
I think he's 6'4" or bigger. I'm not able to pull it up because I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to look that up real quick and see his height and his weight and his vertical.
All right, let's start this one over here.
Yeah, he's 6'4", 215.
One-on-one on the outside. Look at his ability to turn his body midair and catch that over the cornerback. He's got that true outside ability.
Another one-handed catch.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Great catch.
As I said, he's one of those receivers that he can give you that true X outside, but he's in Andy Reid's offense where you move receivers around. He has the ability to play on the inside. I mean, just the body control through contact to be able to go up and catch that.
Can you show that other angle again, Ross?
The first one?
Yeah, this one from the top.
Who's that remind you of?
What it reminds me of is, remember that Rashee Rice catch in the Raiders game on the sideline?
The back shoulder.
Body.
That reminds me of Diggs. Just the way he attacks the ball.
Reminds me of AJ Brown.
So he's not really trying to do this one-handed because the other guy's got his arm. This guy's arm hurt.
His contested catches and the way that he goes up, high points the ball and plays it through contact, it reminds me a lot of AJ Brown. And that's where AJ Brown dominates, is high pointing the ball through contact.
Mm-hmm.
So start this one over again.
Well, underneath route, his ability to break tackles, and that's what I'm saying. He's not just a big-bodied outside receiver. He can play on all three levels. He can play inside and out, but he gives us what we really need, which is that outside X receiver. But he can do everything just like that, how he can make people miss. He can break tackles. He can go over people and make the catch. That's why I don't see a lot of the knocks on him, because he's a very well-rounded receiver. He's not just a big body jump ball receiver. He can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I love in this clip. I love the ability to not do too much. A lot of guys catch this pass and think that they gotta, be offensive with their move, juking somebody or anything like that. It's just more of an emphasis to get north, especially once he gets to this kind of the second level. If you play the clip, Ross, he gets to the second level right here. Just one cut, go get north. Run through contact.
Initial burst. Watch how quick he gets upfield and doesn't allow that first defender to get him.
Yeah.
I mean, catches it, instead of trying to dance, he just gets straight upfield.
Yeah. A lot of guys you see, the KTs and I know it looks nice for highlight films and stuff like that, but like sometimes it's just about just getting the damn ball and getting north.
Yeah, this right here is the one that stands out for me right here. Like he's got 3 guys bearing down on him. He's got one guy that's gotten blocked out here. All you got to do is make one guy miss, and look at the speed that he apparently doesn't have.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, his 40 and his game speed do not correlate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of that has to do, like 40 times is straight line speed.
Yeah.
You're not cutting. You're not putting the elements of what the game actually presents in game. By other guys being on the field.
It shows the same thing. Look at how quick he gets upfield, kind of like Rashee Rice, puts his foot in the ground and just goes, and he finds the holes as he goes. He doesn't waste time trying to find a hole. He immediately gets upfield, and then will try to examine the field and see what's open.
I like the to look for contact too. He looks for contact right here. If he gets to the top of that safety, he was ready to destroy it.
Yeah, twice. I mean, right here, boom.
Right.
And then, another one, boom.
Bam. Yeah.
Well, I said his break tackles and get yards after catch is very similar to Rashee Rice in the way he does it. But he is already a more developed outside receiver, and he gives you that true X that we've been looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So, how do you see that working out in regards to him falling in the first round? Do you think he falls to 32, or do you think there's a team that's right above us that might see some of the same things that Kansas City sees in regards to Coleman?
Yeah, before the combine, I was thinking it was 50-50. I thought somebody in the mid-20s may snag him. With Xavier Worthy jumping in, with the way teams drool over those 4-3 receivers, I think Worthy could possibly jump Keon Coleman just because of that speed aspect. So where I think maybe a 60 to 70% chance Keon's there at 32 as opposed to before the combine. I think there's a possibility that Keon could go before AD and Worthy, but I also think there's a situation where AD and Worthy could go before Keon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anybody got any more thoughts on Coleman? Other than this is country's favorite wide receiver.
Right.
So he's 100% on top of that. All right, who wants to go next? Thanks, Corey. Appreciate that, man.
Someone just mentioned Xavier Worthy.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Let's do Xavier.
I mean, yours makes sense because I think your guy's going to go ahead of mine. So,
right. Nah, we can do Xavier. All right, Xavier Worthy, man. Well, me being a Texas fan, I've watched Xavier Worthy since his freshman year at Texas. Definitely made a lot of splash plays, and I actually bought some of those clips from his freshman year because I wanted people to kind of see, even as a young receiver there, he showed flashes of really what he could do, especially maybe even at the next level. A guy who's we all seen broke the combine record. Speed is out of this world. Definitely a track type of guy. Man, it's just something that he has in this game that you just can't teach. You can't coach it or anything like that. It's a weapon that puts fear in a lot of people especially in this league, and hopefully he can be able to do some of the same things that he was able to do in college. But I think a lot of people just try to look at him and see a speed guy, and they're quick to think that it's another John Ross situation, or it's I'm trying to think of another guy who's really fast that didn't pan out, or you could say like a guy who we call Noodle in the space of Troy Franklin, a guy like that, who basically just relies on their speed to get open. But Xavier Worthington plays he plays the position the right way. I think that he can clearly come into any offense. I don't think that he can be the guy on your offense, but I do think that he can be a weapon in your offense. So as a secondary option, or guy that's your wide receiver too, or a guy who poses a speed threat down the field, I think he can do that for you at a very high level. Kind of like a Hollywood Brown in a sense, but I think he shows some of the similar flashes. If you want to play the tape, you can whenever you're ready. Yeah, I can give you a kind of take. There was a scout, I guess, at the combine that his comparison was kind of Darnell Mooney in a sense. That would be his, I guess you could say, his NFL comparison. But man, he does things. Yeah. You want to go back to that little whip route?
Yeah.
And to
also,
add,
him in number 8 is his freshman year.
Yeah, that's his freshman year.
He's a freshman in that, dude.
Right.
And to add
That
on,
was a nasty route.
It's not that he's limited and can't run routes. It's just when you've got 2 first-round receivers and you've got AD on that roster too, and AD's taking all those underneath routes, there was no need for him. Worthy was so good at what he did that he didn't need to develop a route tree. There's that possibility that he could develop that route tree similar to Tyreek Hill did and turn into a inside and out receiver.
Yeah. You see on this route, I love the way he stems DBs, top of the route, stemming them, getting them to turn, flip their hips in one way, threatening that kind of that post, and then going to the corner. He's really this is his route. Like I can't tell you how many times Sarkisian made him run this route in Texas, but like he's automatically unstoppable on this route because of the speed threat to that post. There's nothing you can do about it.
That step is nasty, and then he just takes off. You see that speed come in.
Yeah,
he's got very flexible hips. Watch how quick he can drop his hips and turn.
Yeah, he can sink his hips in a heartbeat. This play, I wanted to show just because, like, he can, for me, in my opinion, he can play through contact. I know a lot of people talk about his size or whatever, and they think that he's small or whatever. Xavier is not afraid of contact at all. He'll go in the middle. He'll take hits if he has to, but when he has speed, like, he just gets open. Like
that right there is subtle. I like that. We'll see it right there. Yeah, it's right there. Boom. See
the way he can.
Yeah,
he's got such violent hips, like
just a dip.
Yeah, no, the separation between speed receivers and dynamic fast receivers is their ability to sink their hips like that. And you hear it very common when it comes to fast receivers, just like MVS, the stiffness they play with. Worthy doesn't have that stiffness that will limit him, where he won't be able to develop the other aspect where he's only a speed guy. He's so fluid that he could turn into a solid route runner.
Yeah. I mean, you give Patrick Mahomes this type of route.
Yeah, and see for number 3
goes after contact.
Yeah, number 3 on Kansas, like honestly, he did his job. Keeping him in front of you. Don't let him get behind you, because if he gets behind you, he does things like this.
Right. Here's the physicality I think that he brings. That small frame, 160 pounds, boom, boom, and then speed. Bye bye.
That's slippery.
He's and then another thing about him is that he's the type of guy that he can catch it and go 0 to 60 in a flash. He can put his foot in the dirt, and once he gets an open field like you seen right here, you're not catching him. Breaks one tackle, and then open field. There's no safety, I don't think, in this league that could run Xavier Worthy down.
Yeah, and with him running 4.2 speed, it didn't even look like he was even trying to run
with ease.
here.
Yeah, it was just smooth. John Ross, you could see he was pushing it in his 40. He also the difference there's a lot of differences between John Ross and Worthy.
Yeah,
and people can claim that, but John Ross had nowhere near this type of route tree.
Let me find. Let's get the other one here.
Yeah, John Ross had that stiffness that you talk past the receivers that are just deep threats. Worthy does. He has the ability to sink his hips. He has the ability to cut on a dime. To me, he got boxed into that speed category where it's just a speed receiver.
Yeah.
This is AD.
Oh, this is AD?
Yeah.
I didn't have titles on it.
Nah, but that was the beauty of having both of those guys last year. You had a guy like AD who could control the middle of the field, for a guy who, in my opinion, who we have on our team that reminds me a lot of Rashee Rice. Do across the middle of the field, and then you had a deep threat in Xavier Worthy, a guy who can push teams down the field. There was one clip that I did want you to kind of go back to, Ross, if you could just play it through it again against Bama. But you can just literally see the respect that Nick Saban and them give him on this go, where they essentially they double him pretty much just because they're that afraid of his speed. And in that game, he ended up cooking them for a touchdown over the top anyway. So
it's the next clip. Yeah,
this right here, you see the respect of having
that safety just bailing.
Yeah, like, and that's something that I've been wanting to have in our offense for a while, for the last couple of seasons. Giving that kind of respect opens up so many things for your offense at the next level. Even though this pass ends up getting thrown out into the flat, pretty much, and does a good job over the middle of containing. But
it's almost wide receiver one type stuff right there, right? You're dictating coverage. So if you're looking at this, he's the guy right up here at top, and he's got the cornerback, and he's got the safety right above. Both of them are dropping back to cover him in the deep.
Yeah.
You're dictating coverage at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and teams just have to respect it. They can't, you can't just leave them out there one-on-one, because if you do, like I said in later on in this game, in the Bama game, he cooked them over the top for a touchdown. So
and we've got the offense, right? Well, I'm saying we got the offense now. I think we've developed that last year to where we can beat you underneath. So then if you're gonna blockade this stuff off up top, then we'll beat you underneath. Then you're gonna bring it back down, and then we're gonna beat you over top again with Brown. I think that's what Brown can do. That's what Worthy can do.
Yeah, I really do think that he can still do some of the crossers and slants and stuff like that at the next level as well too. Maybe not at a rate that like an A.D. Mitchell or Keon Coleman or somebody more physical could be, but if you, like I said, it's always one of those things that if you let him get on the slant and you miss on a tackle, he's taking it 60, 70 yards for a touchdown. So
yeah, like right there.
To have this element of speed in your offense, and we may not draft him, we may go a different direction or whatever, but to pair him with Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, I think it would put the fear of God in a lot of defenses on the opposing side. Yeah, and I think Kelce and Rice would definitely eat off of him. So.
We can keep it in the Texas tree here. I'll do mine. A.D. Mitchell. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff on him. his route running is, already elite. He's got almost every route tree. He's somebody that he can play the outside, but he does. I think DG just said it a few minutes ago. He eats on the inside of the field. His in route stuff like that. That's where he excels at. One of the things that I wasn't a big fan of was his yard after catch. Isn't that great?
No.
He's not very physical, but his speed, his route running, stuff like that makes him somebody that we could use in this offense. Consistently. And then you add his size in there. 6'2", 205. He runs a 4.35. He could run. He can play the outside or the inside. It doesn't matter. There was a lot to love about him. You can go ahead and play that video, but let's see, which one was it? Yeah. Anyway, but
yeah,
one thing I will say,
you want a jump ball receiver? That's your guy.
That's right your guy. Yeah. One thing I will say about him though is his ball control. I think he had several fumbles last year for Texas. I don't remember how many exactly. I think I put 4 down, but I don't know if that's 4 that he lost or 4 total all season. But just his ability to track the ball and adjust his body to catch it is something that we haven't had in a while.
His movie puts on this.
Yeah, he's definitely a manipulator at the top of his routes. He really understands how to run routes and leverage and
yeah.
Man, he's AD's a smart receiver.
Yeah, it's not like you're giving up a lot of speed because you're going from a 4.2 guy to a 4.3.
Yeah.
So, look at this.
And
wow, you can track a ball. Look at that.
Definitely can do that.
Some of his body adjustments to catch the ball in some of these clips, man. It's remarkable.
And somebody like him would be a very good receiver to pair with Rice because of Rice's ability to play in and out. If you've got both of them lined up in a stack position, it's going to be really hard to switch off coverage on them because AD is such a great route runner. He's going to beat you immediately. And you look at the way they use Worthy and him together, kind of stacked next to each other like that sometimes. Using him and Rice like that, not being able to tell which one's going to go over the middle, which one's going to cut it outside. Neither of them have limits, so they'd be really good at playing off of each other, kind of the way we've been looking for somebody to play off of Kelsey. I think AD could play off of Rice really well.
Yeah. And watching his film and also making his highlight tape, like the one I made, my favorite part about AD is how he attacks the ball. I think that was the clip. This next one here. Also, that wasn't a fumble. He was down. Watch this. He still attacks this ball. He goes back into the ball and attacks it. So that's something that, that's one of the reasons I didn't like Noodle. It's one of the reasons I didn't like Troy Franklin. You don't see him attack the ball like this, high pointing the ball, coming back to it. That's what helps a quarterback out. That's what helps Pat out. He works with him. Again, just being that size with a 4.35 speed is crazy. AD is one of my favorites in this draft.
I think watching Texas last year, one of the biggest things that I loved about watching him was that when Quinn Ewers went down for us, and Malik Murphy had to step in, who was a sophomore or whatever, you saw AD's game really take another step. He knew he really had to step up his game and really help out Malik. Just because Malik wasn't as knowing of our offense as Quinn was, and probably wasn't as I won't say intelligent, but made some of the decisions that Quinn made at that point in time. But you could really tell that Malik really relied on AD to get him out of a lot of tough situations at that point. So yeah, man, AD's a special talent.
He'd be a special player to pick up, obviously. I don't think we'll go that route. I don't think we'll be able to get him. I figure he'll be off the board by the time we get up there. But if he were to come to KC, man, I would absolutely love it. I mean, he's a special player
That's
already.
So the one thing that I say about AD and the comp that I kind of had for him, solely based on the way he presents himself as a big target to the QB, he'll come back to the ball, he'll find a soft spot and sit square up to make it an easy throw. It reminds me a lot of T. Higgins and the way T. Higgins will square himself up and make himself an easy target for QB. That's what AD gives you.
Yeah, that's honestly a good comp for him. They play the game in a similar way. So.
Yeah.
All right.
From Max.
No, I'm gonna go last because my guy.
Oh, you're on last.
The last. Yeah, because my guy's the last option. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, your guys are
I forgot who Max did.
Y'all are not getting Noodle. You are not getting Troy Franklin out of me.
Hey, he almost did it. You're the one that brought it up in the chat.
No, I almost did. I texted the group chat. I was like, "Am I really gonna get stuck with Troy Franklin?" Like, but I'm not doing it.
You know how hard it would be 5 good things to say about Noodle?
I could probably
just the fact that we call him Noodle.
No.
I mean, he has good speed.
And that's it. All right. Moving on to Walter's guy, Ladd McConkey.
Ladd McConkey. All right, I'm gonna throw up. I did a little bit of his pro day, so I'm gonna throw that up. Kind of why I talk about his measurables here.
Yeah.
So Ladd, I like Ladd a lot, man. This guy's got just a wide array of things that he is going to do exceptionally well in the NFL. I mean, he's got great hands. He's great in space. He's great against contact and the balance. He does really good with the jukes, the cuts. He sits in zones really, really well, which I think complements him, especially in this offense. He's sneaky. Speed is about 4.39. His 10-yard split was a 1.52 at the combine. I mean, that's some pretty good speed. I mean, even if it's just the hand clock speed, even a 4.4 speed for this guy is really good because his footwork is just elite. That's maybe his best attribute is his footwork. It's so smooth. It's so quick. He literally, look at that. I mean, just pop, 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 pop. I mean, he's just so light on his feet. Yeah.
It looks fluid.
I'll tell you, this guy, if Tom Brady was still playing, this would be his favorite.
He would love him.
Dude. This would probably end up being his top wide receiver ever.
Well, my comp for him is Welker. He doesn't have the physical hard-nosed play like Edelman does. Mm-hmm. When it comes to a true technician, he reminds me of Wes Welker, the way he can beat you on a route just with his footwork and his ability to sell routes. I mean, look at just how clean his footwork is.
Yeah, I mean, I think arguably, I mean, this guy's got a lot of good things going for him, but I think his footwork is his absolute best attribute about him. I mean, it gets him in and out of situations that a lot of other receivers, if you get into these situations, they're not going to be able to cover from it, but he can come out of it just fine. He's a great route runner. He uses his hands to catch. You don't see him catch the ball with his body a lot unless it's called for, but he uses his hands a lot. He uses his feet to create good releases, and you'll see that in some of the film here in a few minutes. His feet is so quick. He's able to get off of press man coverage. He's able to establish himself leverage when in the middle of a route. So, I mean, his feet, it's where it starts. I mean, he can do so much just off that one attribute that makes him so versatile.
This man is the perfect reason D-back coaches tell you to stare at their hips, because if you watch his feet, you're going to get fooled every time.
Oh yeah, you're screwed if you go with his feet. Yeah, he can create a lot of separation off the line after the catch. He can play all over the. This is another reason why I think this is a perfect guy for Andy Reid's offense, because he can literally play anywhere on the field. He can play outside. He can play inside. He can play off the line of scrimmage. He can play at running back. You can literally put this guy anywhere on the field, and he would be a highly effective wide receiver, especially in this offense. And that's one of the things that I really valued in our wide receivers that we're looking at in the draft. I think they have to have that ability to play anywhere on the field for Andy, because you know he likes to do that. So I think that's one of his biggest attributes. He takes advantage of cornerback coverage and leverage. You'll see in some of the clips here. I'll play this one more time in case anybody didn't get to see the combine for him. But you'll see in some of the clips, he takes advantage of cornerbacks' leverage. Like, he will literally set them up, and then he will just explode out of the route in a completely different direction. And his feet make that possible. So I mean,
he sinks his hips very well in some of these cone drills. You can tell he kind of understands how to attack certain routes.
Well, the one thing about him is if you watch some of these receivers, they have to think they're really far to make those quick cuts. He doesn't. He's got the flexibility where he can just do a settled drop, and he's doing a 180. Like, nobody else has action time or the body control to be able to keep up with that quick in and out like that. That takes a lot of body control.
Yeah. He did have a couple injuries. August 29th last year, he had a lower back issue. He ended up coming back from that and playing, so I think he's cleared of that. I haven't heard anything from the medical report from the combine yet, so I don't think that's an issue coming into the draft. November 11th, 2023, he did have an ankle sprain. He did rest a couple games for that, and then he came back for the SEC championship game. So, and obviously he did the pro day, he did the combine. Doesn't look like that's going to affect him at all. Looks like that's healed up and he's past that. So, injury history, I don't think.
Guys, we lost the stream.
What do you mean we lost the stream?
It's unavailable on YouTube right now.
Uh-oh.
Looks like we're still up on Twitter though.
Okay. Let's keep going.
All right. Well, if you're still on Twitter,
it says lost connection on Twitter too.
Oh man. Here we go. Was it the time?
It might have been the time where the music that played on the AD route.
It says it's working on Twitter.
Twitter, not YouTube. Damn.
Okay,
sweet. Thank you, Joy. All right, we'll keep going.
We'll finish out, and
Yeah, we'll finish up here. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube or we're watching on YouTube, I guess you can't really hear that I'm saying this, but
jump over to Twitter.
Jump over to Twitter. So just get through his quick measurables. He's 6 foot, 186 pounds, got 30-inch arms, and 8-inch hands. So his weaknesses is he did have some limited production this past season due to a couple energies and everything. He had a couple drop balls in 2022, but I think that was kind of alleviated in 2023. And sometimes his acceleration to driving through the routes and stems like that, which I didn't really see that in 2023. I think he got a lot better at that. So let me pull up the next video for him, and we'll start looking at. So here we go.
That's Hollywood.
That's Hollywood.
Oh no, I grabbed the wrong one.
God, Malaya McConkey got faster.
Right? Dude is quick. Oh, here we go. There we go. All right, let's remove this. Remove this. And video. And we're going to go back here. And boom. There we go. All right, here we go. Top of the screen. Again, boom. Gets in and out of his routes quick with his feet. He just hits it and then explodes out of it.
Yeah.
Just great in and out of his routes. This one here, another one, boom, makes it a little quick and then just sits. See, we talked about Rice with that last year. going a little too further or a little too far, he just sits right there. So this is that part where he's really good at sitting in zones. Boom, hits it, and then reverses field, kind of almost like a Travis Kelce turnaround right there. Yeah, and then you see that speed that he's got, that 4.39 speed. So he hits it, and then just takes off. Kind of like that Worthy play, almost.
Yeah. I heard a lot about this kid last year, the previous 2 years at Georgia, man. Really started diving into a lot of his, more of his highlights and stuff like that. But he definitely seems like a very fluid, smooth route runner.
I'm gonna go back to this one right here because this is
the fastest you will see somebody make a double move in your life.
Yeah. So this is that 6 foot 182 frame right there, working on that.
Like that's almost a Euro step. Like that double move fast.
Which one was that? I missed it because I was looking at my notes. There we go.
To the fence, like that just.
Yeah. Right. Watch this.
Boom, boom, boom. But see, that's the asset that he has with those feet. It's everything he does that makes him a phenomenal player works off of his quick feet.
Yeah.
Like this one right here, he got sorely underthrown here. Look at this route.
Was that Stetson throwing him that?
This is nasty.
Boom. Look at he drops his hip and just, oh my gosh, dude. What a route. That was my favorite route watching this film, was that one right there. I mean, because but boom.
I mean, in my opinion, and I hate to, I guess, make this comparison just because, but he reminds me of a lot of another guy that's in LA right now.
Boom.
In Cooper.
Yeah.
Especially with just the level of route running, how fluid he is.
Well, the thing I noticed with him, he doesn't waste steps. Every step is practical. It's for a reason. It's calculated. He's not wasting any movement.
Yeah. This is by far my
I love that. He definitely has a plan in his routes. He definitely knows what he's going to do before he does it, which I love. That means that he's constantly thinking while the game is going on. It definitely means that he doesn't give up on his routes, which is great to see because we see a lot of receivers in this league after they don't get the ball, they kind of give up on it. So see that double move that lets me know that he's going to give effort on his routes.
Well, but he's consciously understanding he's creating his own separation, right? Like that's one of the knocks against Noodle is that he doesn't create his own separation, right?
Replay your favorite route again. Watch how he is able to sink his hips to make it look like an outcut, and then put his foot in the ground and make another cut. There are not very many receivers. Look at that. He drops his hips completely to make that turn, gets the quarterback to bite on it, and is still able to plant his foot and make a secondary cut off of it. There is
That's severely underthrown.
Severely underthrown. Just had everybody beat. So this is another one. This kind of fits our offense, right? Boom. He's able to get out of it.
Get upfield. Yep. Love it.
And then there's that speed. His split 10-yard split was 1.52, by the way.
Yeah, like it seems like reliable hands as well too. Catches the ball with his hands out, not towards his body or anything like that.
Yeah, see, like this one here, I like that he pushes up and then he.
Yeah, that's a route that the Chiefs run a lot in their offense.
This one was nasty too.
That's disgusting.
Watch, boom.
Oh my God.
See, I'm telling you, man. I know everybody's like, oh, no, we need a X. We need a big receiver that can play on the outside. Dude, this guy can play outside. He can play inside. He can play outside. He can play behind the line of scrimmage. You can line him up on the end line. That's like a tight end set almost, like a Y back, a H back. I mean, this dude can literally do it all, it feels like.
Yeah. And then in Andy Reid's offense, versatility always matters. You need guys that can do multiple things and learn multiple positions. Andy's not one of those guys that wants you to play one position at receiver. So that's why the jump ball X receiver thing just never made sense to me as far as how our offense goes. I mean, yes, it's nice and it's flashy and and it looks good for highlights, but as far as how many games it's going to win you is something like this.
Corey, you remember last week we were talking about Rashid Rice and he had a similar route like this?
Play it again.
There's a little corner here. Kind of up and corner to the corner.
Yeah. See, Rice ran the same route.
Yeah.
We were talking.
He gets the leverage off the line.
Is that the one we're talking? We didn't throw it to him where he kind of went past the hole.
Yeah. It was the McKinnon route that went to the right for a touchdown, but similar route to what Rashid Rice ran.
Watch him win off the line.
Right.
He's already won. Yeah. Once he's about 5-6 yards, he's already won on that route.
Yep. I like this one.
Yeah.
See,
I love the plan. Look
at that. Bro, please bring me Lad. Watch this. Nasty. Boom.
Yeah. Ability to get to top speed, sink your hips, deceptive at the top of the route.
But see, here's my point on his route running. Look at outside, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now watch this one. Sit inside. They all look similar.
You can see.
I was just gonna say that every time he sits down on one of these routes and is breaking in or out, or even on that go route that we saw, that hitch and go route that we saw, it all looks the exact same.
Is this Mizzou?
That's so hard for a DB.
Which one was that?
The last one you showed was that Mizzou. Yeah, but you can clearly tell 7, whoever's guarding him, you can clearly tell respects his speed down the field. Just the way the kind of the bell right here.
Mm-hmm.
He's just trying to really not let Lad get over the top of him. Yeah, he's a very, very fluid route runner, man. Love what he can do.
Smart. Watch how he gets through this traffic.
Right. Yeah, and some guys come in this league, man, and it's not about being flashy. It's just about making the right damn play, And I kind of can see a lot of that from him on film.
That's what you're gonna get with Lad. The other thing with Lad is he'll be there at 32.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, and I don't know, man. Like, look at smart.
Yeah, I love it, man. I would not mind having somebody like this, especially. I feel like he would be able to come in and pick up our offense too, as well.
Oh, he's extremely smart too. Yeah, he came in. He started as a freshman because I think they had somebody get injured. I forget the guy's name.
Right.
Well, we also remember AD Mitchell left.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good point.
That's a good point.
See this one here. I know the ball's already thrown underneath, but he's already got the guy beat. Look at this. Look at the separation he's already created.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pushes him. Boom, right by you. Bye.
I'm looking at his draft profile, and he doesn't have many weaknesses. They couldn't got down with stuff for weaknesses. So
look at this one, DG. Watch this one. Whoop. Okay.
Yeah. Just gets upfield. Yeah. Gets north. Not afraid of contact. Love it, man. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having that. Especially, I know Pat wouldn't mind having that. It seems very reliable, and I think that's something that Pat and them been, Andy and them been kind of looking for, especially in the receiver in this offense.
Yeah, I just think that he gives you pretty much everything that you really are looking for in a receiver. He's got great routes. He's got good speed. Um, he's got good cuts. He makes all of his routes look similar, which is the one thing that I caught when I was watching tape. I watched more than just these clips here, and all of his routes just have a very similar tendency to it, and you just don't know where it's going to go. And his feet make it to where he can pop in and out of those cuts super quick. So if you miss, you're going to miss, and he's gone.
Right.
So, he's a highly underrated receiver. He doesn't have the flashiness and stuff like that because of the production this year with the injuries that he had as some of the other guys. But I think he's just as polished as some of the bigger receivers up top and maybe even more consistent.
Yeah, that's why I said him is Wes Welker, one of the hardest players you'll see when it comes to using leverage and footwork. Has really quick feet, and he has the ability to take those underneath routes and stop on a dime. That's where I got that Wes Welker comp from. He's going to be one of these on some of these little quick hitters and dump offs and safety blankets.
Yeah.
Brilliant, man.
All right, well, that's all I got for Lad.
Yeah.
I'll finish.
All right. We got Max. He's got Noodle. Sorry.
I'm not going over Troy Franklin, but I am going to go over a later round wide receiver that some of you guys might not know much about. Jalen McMillan out of Washington, 6'1", 192 pounds. He did have a knee injury in 2023, but he played 9 games, averaged 13.6 yards per catch, and 127 QBR rating. You can pause it real quick while I get some of these thoughts off first. Had 127 QBR rating when targeted. Some of the first things I noticed about him, he is amazing at stacking the DB. He knows where to get the DB to play with him. He can manipulate them at the top of his route, as well as he mixes releases. He has a slow release. He has a step back release that I've seen. So he really is a complete package. This is looking at like a third round wide receiver, potentially even fourth, depending on how some of these guys fall. It is going to be a second wide receiver that we take if we do end up taking one. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of a Tyler Boyd, just in how he's utilizing the offense, but also in his comp through a couple places was Jackson Smith and Jigba. Some of the key things about him that I noticed as well while watching some of this tape is he always breaks first contact. Like I've seen him break first contact on almost every single one of his highlights, which is wild. He has great spatial awareness with the ball in his hands and can extend a play through that. Great body control while the ball is in the air, catches balls outside of his frame. He has good speed. He ran a 4.47 40. So he's not going to blow past you, but I do think he has a decent one. Also, he's kind of similar to Ladd in his 10-yard split. Like Ross said, Ladd ran a 1.52 10-yard split, and his is a 1.53. So they're pretty similar in their 10-yard split. And Kid can jump out of the gym, which we'll see in some of these clips. You can go ahead and play it.
All right. Let me know when you want to stop.
All right. So this first clip, you see him up on the top of the screen. He gets outside release, stacks the DB, gets over top of him, and this is just great ball tracking. That's just great ball tracking. Not many guys can catch this ball. We saw AD catch a ball like this as well. Just over the shoulder, DB is on his hip, holding his arm at a point on the route. Here's the other one. Again, stacks him, gets on top of him, interfered with, holding his jersey, fading outside, and nearly one-handed catch there. So that one was exciting for me to see.
It was playing ball.
Yep. And then this next one, some of his weaknesses, at least that were listed, is his play strength. Honestly, his biggest weakness to me is his build, and his top end speed, just because I think that could go against him at some points, as well as the knee injury. But this right here, if you're going to tell me this isn't play strength, go ahead and play this clip. Watch how he attacks this ball. And gets hit, holds on to it. So I don't really get the play strength comment. Again, goes and attacks the ball, which is my favorite thing to see in a wide receiver, because it means that, that's why I liked Worthy so much and AD so much as well, is because they go and attack the ball. They're going after the ball. They want to make a play on it. First one to the ball is usually the one to catch it. This UCLA play, this is kind of where I was saying that he is lethal when he gets the ball in his hands. He breaks first contact and can take it the distance. Go ahead and play this one. Change of direction is crazy. Just a simple slant here at the bottom, and then changes direction back into the middle, breaks 2 tackles, spins off him into the end zone. Like, tell me that, and then tell me this route doesn't look familiar. You can go ahead and play this one again afterwards. Tell me that route doesn't look. Tell me that doesn't look familiar. You can play that one again, Ross.
Yeah, I was about to say. Come on, there we go.
Chiefs run that pick route a lot.
Yep, and this motion, and then motion back out.
Yep. A little flat.
Super Bowl.
Right. So tell me that doesn't look familiar. He can run an X spot. He didn't run X in college as much, just because that's kind of where Polk. Here's some trickery for you. Watch how he extends this play.
Oh, I thought he was going to throw it again.
And this is what I was talking about. He has vision when the ball is in his hands. He can create lanes. He has very great spatial awareness, and again breaks his first tackle, can read his blockers. We know the Chiefs run some bubble screens. We've elevated our game in bubble screens a lot more, but you better wrap him up. And then this is the last clip. This kind of just shows that top end speed, or second to last clip actually. This kind of just shows that speed that he has. Goodbye. So this was a simple post route. He got in front of the safety and just broke off of him. You can't do much against that. And obviously you saw that safety bailing, which shows they respected his speed as well. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm just blown away by watching some of these guys being able to simply track the ball and catch it. And we had 44 drops last year in the NFL with the best quarterback in the league. And I'm watching this dude. Well, look at this. Look at it. Like,
hey, Max,
catch the damn ball.
How do you feel about my player comp for him? When I was looking at him, for him, Kobe Myers.
Yeah,
I would say he's a little bit bigger than Jacoby, but yeah, their play style is definitely similar. Yeah, and how he breaks tackles.
They definitely cooked us.
Yeah, sure. I'm sorry to put this one on here, DG, but this is just an amazing catch. And again, this is where you see the release and at the top of the route how he manipulates the DB. At least this was last year. Okay, or 2 years ago. This was 2 years ago.
Right.
But just how he stems him. And then this catch, that's not an easy catch behind him, picking it up off the turf.
Again, he's catching the ball.
Yeah,
amazing.
Right?
Bring him in.
That's one of the things I love about him. He has great hands. Again, obviously the knee issue is a worry, but we've seen Beach take flyers on guys like that. It's gonna make him drop in rounds. But he is worth it in my opinion.
What's his draft?
What was that?
So where are they expecting him to go in the draft?
Third round. He is number 50, so it's right there at that end of second round, third round. You're probably gonna have to take him at the end of the second if you really want him, or if something does happen with Snead and you have an early third round pick, that's also a possibility too. Then he didn't really play X in college, just because, like I said, Polk and Dunze were that X guy, those outside guys for Washington. But he would slide outside to the Z, and has shown X capability with that. And like I said, like we said it earlier, Andy likes these guys that he can move around. We just watched him run outside. We watched him run for the slot. He can play anywhere in the stack. Just a really versatile guy that has sure hands, can track the ball, is lethal when he gets the ball in his hands and makes plays.
Yeah.
Got him just outside the second round with Malachi.
Yeah, that's where I have him, is in that third round.
Yeah, a lot of mocks I'm seeing him fall to the third round, third round, early kind of something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Malachi is nice. I like him. Cowing is really nice in third. I like him. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much depth in this wide receiver class. Even if Veach decides that he doesn't want to grab a wide receiver in that first round, he's going to have plenty of options in the second and third round that he can get to. So,
So if he doesn't get one in the first round, I'd like to double up. But
yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Anyone but Noodle.
Anyone but Noodle. Nobody wants Noodle around here.
Like I said, we don't really need those 1,000-yard receivers. We just need those 600 to 800-yard guys that are going to be key role players behind Rice and Kelsey.
Yeah. See, and that's another thing that I've been trying to start the conversation about in our community is Travis Kelsey is probably going to be gone in 2 years, guys. We need to get some young receivers right now, and we need to start developing and get them into this system with Pat, and allowing them to get that same feeling with Pat, because Kelsey's going to be gone here soon, and you're going to have to live with it. So we need to get some guy. I think getting Rice last year was huge for us, especially the way he plays. I think he can start doing that complement of what Kelsey has done over the past how long he's been here. So anyway, with that said, that's our receivers that we like in the first round, and Max with the one that you can possibly get in the second, third round. So I know this episode was a little bit long. We're right at the 2-hour mark. We're not trying to be this long, but we did have some news in the beginning that we had to go over, and Chris Jones and the Snead deal and all that stuff. So you guys got any final thoughts?
Oh man, looking forward to this draft. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with Jerry Snead. Hopefully, we'll get an answer here in the coming days. Yeah, right as soon as we close this damn stream, he'll be traded. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to see what happens with him. From an emotional, I guess, standpoint of caring about players and stuff, I just want things to work out for him at this point. Want him to get what he wants out of the deal, and see him get paid because he deserves it at this point. So,
did you back up?
Yep.
Yeah, it was back up to YouTube again.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
So I mean,
that's all I got, man.
My thoughts watching all that film. It's going to be hard for us to go wrong.
You're right.
Yeah. This is a deep wide receiver class. You got options.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got options. I mean, we didn't even show, like I said, those other ones, the Corleys, the Cowings. What is that other one who's climbing up the board? You showed a picture of him, DG. Him hunting.
That's it. Brian Thomas does into the.
You showed a picture of him hunting, or not you, but there was.
Leggett.
Leggett. Yeah, Leggett.
Leggett.
Yep, Leggett.
Yeah. That'd be a good pick too.
Yeah,
solid end of the second round pick. If he's sitting there at 64, that's a very solid pick there.
Yeah. I like it. I like Leggett too. Definitely a good day 2. If he falls to day 3, I probably would snatch him for sure. But I definitely think he goes day 2.
Yeah,
I don't. Well, what people don't realize with Leggett is they look at his stats and they don't look at the reason behind it, why he only had 1,000-yard receiving season, and he switched from playing quarterback. He was a quarterback and just switched to wide receiver. And year 1 Spencer Rattler was not a very good QB, and the QBs that he had before that are probably working at Costco right now. So, I mean, he hasn't had the best situation, but going from a quarterback to his last season breaking out, he's got all the physical attributes. He's got the vertical, he's got the speed, he's got the route running. He's finally just starting to put it all together. If he had another college, I think he's another 1,200-1,300 yard receiver in another year.
Yeah. Ethan, you got any final thoughts, man?
No, I'm just ready for the season to be back, man. I'm missing it
already. We haven't even got to the draft yet.
I know. It's crazy because we've had short off seasons the last couple years, whatever, and it still seems like it takes forever. I mean, we're a month removed from winning the Super Bowl, so
right.
Yeah.
We have it rough over here. Yeah.
Ethan, that reply to my post was funny. I was like, Chiefs fans have it so hard, and he was like, I know it's been a month since we won a game.
Right.
That's nasty. Hey, you want to shout out your buddy Max for the our new branding we got going on here?
our new logo and background that you guys see behind you when we went on pause or when we were showing those edit clips, all designed by my friend Tyler. Tyler is so epic on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Go and check his stuff out. He does album covers, really any kind of digital art that you guys need. He cooked this up for us, so super appreciative to him. Super appreciative again to Kingdom Cast for giving us this platform. But yeah, go check Tyler's stuff out. He's a super cool guy. Known him my whole life, so
yep,
super grateful for that.
So,
do we want to talk about next week?
Oh yeah, I'm about to get into that right now. So next week we're gonna take the weekend off, because we've got some pretty cool news coming out of Kingdom Queens. They've got their, so basically their, who is it? Ken Seltzer?
Kind, yeah, Ken Seltzer or something kind or whatever.
Yeah, Ken Seltzer's got a new flavor coming out March 23rd. So, strawberry lemonade. So they're looking to do their podcast during the launch party, and you can catch that downtown at Border Brewery Saturday, March 23rd at 5 p.m. And they're going to also be streaming that, so you can catch that on all their platforms that they stream on. So we're going to let them have their flowers for Saturday and let them kind of do their thing, so everybody can show up and support Kingdom Queens and that awesome little show there. I can only imagine DG being there and D-Mag and CJ. So I figured, why not we just take the day off and go out and support our other podcasters over there, Kingdom Queens, and let them do their awesome live show out there. So that'll give us some time to pause and kind of look over the first two shows that we've had, because this is the first two that we've done, so we can look and see a little bit of where we can improve and work on some of the delivering of these films, clips, stuff like that. So I appreciate everybody coming out.
Criticism, feedback, any suggestions is welcome.
Drop
it in the tweets, tweet at us, whatever you want to do. DM us, DM the Kingdom Cast account, reply to the tweet. Let us know what we can do to improve this space, guys, or this podcast, guys.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. I mean, it's episode 2, so we got a long road ahead of us. Ethan, you look like you got some news. No?
Yeah, I was just laughing about Manny putting Troy Franklin in there in the comments.
He knows he can't get dropped.
Don't talk about Noodle.
Don't talk about Noodle. All right, so yep. So we will not be here next weekend, but we will be here the following weekend, and I'm going to probably put up a poll to see what you guys want to see as far as draft content for that next week, because we just did receivers. So I'll post up a poll probably sometime next week and ask you guys what kind of clips and stuff that would you like to see on some of the, and what positions that you want to see in the draft coming up that we can go over for you guys. So with that, that's for Max. Hold on.
Yeah, come on, guys. Let's get off of here so Legarius Sneak can get traded.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's waiting on us.
All right. This is Arrowhead PM Live. Kingdom Cast. Love you. We are out. Have a good night, guys.